guys, so I was planning to film this a little earlier in the day, but then Free Willy was on TV and I totally watched it instead of filming the video. I regret nothing except for the fact that I forgot how sad Free Willy is. And I just was crying about it because it's really bittersweet. And if you haven't seen it, then go watch it for some wonderful 90s nostalgia. So I was thinking about what to film for this video. I normally upload videos on Mondays and Fridays now. And it's kind of the end of the month, so I was thinking about doing a haul, but then I realized I'm planning on going to the bookstore soon, so I'm probably going to pick up some things. So that means that I would be missing some of my April haul things. So instead I decided to do something that I haven't done on this channel before, which is a TBR list for the month of May. I don't normally set to be read lists just because I find them a little restricting, but I think a couple of the things that I want to read, I want to try and not buy as many books in May. I was really bad in April, as you guys are going to see next week when I film my haul for that. Oops. But yeah, I have a couple of big expenses coming out in May. Namely, I need to replace my phone, and because of the way Canadian, specifically Ontario, phone plans work, I'm gonna have to buy my phone outright, which is really, really expensive. If you guys know the actual costs of like an iPhone, it's a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, so to keep my old plan, I have to buy my new phone outright. So I'm gonna try and not buy so many books to kind of cut down on my costs, so that way I can get my new phone, but also so I can get rid of some of the books on my shelf that I haven't read yet. I was kind of looking at my shelves the other day and realizing a lot of books I haven't read that I bought, and I was like, ooh, I really want to read this, and then you kind of buy more books and it keeps getting pushed further and further down, so I want to clear out some of my backlog of unread books. So to start with, I'm going to be reading Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I have the Penguin Drop Cap edition. I'm inspired to read this because, and I think this is how you pronounce her name, but Rike? It's Danish, so it's really hard. I kind of googled it because I was like, I don't want to mispronounce it because I feel really bad. From Paperback Castles. We've been talking a lot about books lately, and she is reading this in the month of May with another friend. I thought I would join in and also read it because I have only read Bartleby the Scrivener by Melville, so I don't have much experience. Plus it's like 650 some odd pages, so I calculated, and if I read 25 pages a day, I can definitely finish this in a month, which is easy. I read like way more than that normally in a day. So that also gives me time to read other things. Namely, I want to read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which I have the Penguin cloth-bound edition, which I love. And I read last week Mary Shelley's Mathilda. Adolphe's the other one that came with my subscription, so I haven't read much Mary Shelley, so I'd really like to read Frankenstein. I've heard it's really good, so I'm excited for that. You'll notice a trend of classics going. I do try and read a lot of classics in the summer when I'm not in school, and save all the young adult and the slightly lighter reading for when I'm in school and can't focus on reading as much. So next up is Frances Burney's Evelina, which I have heard is really good. I was supposed to actually read this for a class, and then I ended up dropping the class because the professor was just terrible and online classes are not for me. And I was a little scarred from epistolary novels, which, if you don't know, epistolary novels are told in the form of letters, because I was forced to read Clarissa, which I don't have anymore, sadly, to show you the massive size of this novel that I was forced to read, and it's all epistolary. And it was just, I hated Clarissa. So I was a little scarred by that, but I'm going to give Frances Burney's Evelina a try. I've heard really good things. She was a near contemporary of Jane Austen. So another two that I'm kind of debating about. Try not to let my books fall and spill my tea. I want to read one of these. I'm not sure which one. They're both by a Bronte. I have The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, and then I have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Jane Eyre would be a reread for me. It is another one of those books that was Ruined by Horrible High School Teachers, and I have the Penguin English Library editions of these, which I really like for paperbacks. They feel really nice in the hand. I've never read any Anne Bronte, so I'm kind of leaning towards this one to kind of expand my repertoire. But on the other hand, I do want to give Jane Eyre a fair shot. I might read both, but for now I'm saying I want to read one of these. I am really intrigued by Jane Eyre after reading How to Be a Heroine, which I talked about in my last 2 Friday reads by Samantha Ellis, because she re-examines some of the heroines that she visited as a young girl. So, I don't know. I will decide when I get to this if I'm going to read both or one. And then I decided on some contemporary fiction. I want to read Mr. Fox by Helen Oyemi. Oyemi? I think that's how you pronounce that. I have read this year her Boy Snow Bird, which was a retelling of, whatchamacallit? Oh, Snow White, from the Wicked Stepmother's point of view, and this is another, like, fairy tale retelling. I don't know which one, but it's basically, apparently it's about an author who kills off all of his heroines, but then one of his heroines comes to life. So I'm really intrigued by this. I really liked Boy Snow Bird, so I want to give this a chance. But yeah, so I want to get through this. Another one I want to read is Burial Rites by Hannah Kent, which I've heard a lot of things about, a lot of good things. I just have the paperback copy. There is a beautiful copy. I think it's the UK edition though, and it's got the black edges. Sadly, the Canadian copy or the American copy, I don't know which one we have. Sometimes we get UK copies and sometimes we get American copies, so it's really hard to tell which version we got. But I think this is the US copy. And it's about a woman who commits murder in Iceland, and that's about all I know. But I've heard so many people raving about this book, so I really want to give it a try. And I think that's pretty much it. The other one, I might finish this book before May actually happens, so I'm not including it, but I do want to read Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Love in the Time of Cholera. It's actually my mom's version, so it's all like dog-eared and not very nice, but it's in the house, so I might as well read this copy. Just because, unfortunately, he has passed away and I haven't read any of his works, so yeah, I want to read this. He won a Nobel Prize, apparently, according to this edition. Yeah, I was listening to the Book Riot podcast this morning, and they talked a lot about his work and how amazing he is as an author, so I really want to get started on that. But this is as I just finished Oryx and Crake last night, I'm probably going to start this tonight, so I might finish this before May, so I'm not including this actually in my list. But yeah, so that is my May TBR. If you guys have any books that you want to tackle in May, let me know. If you guys are trying to clear out the backlog of books that you have accumulated on your shelves, also let me know. What are your tips and tricks for this? I just tend to be really bad, and all my like friend dates where you meet up for coffee to catch up with friends happen to occur in a Starbucks that is attached to a Chapters. Oops, which is always really dangerous because with me, I'm always super early, so I end up wandering around the stacks and end up normally before a friend gets there picking up like 3, 4, 5 books. I don't know if anybody else has this issue of like not being able to walk into a bookstore and literally leaving with a stack of books. It's terrible. But yeah, so let me know in the comments below. I will be doing a Friday reads this week, and next week will be my April haul. And I will see you guys later. Happy reading!